Hello and welcome to another episode of my Wild Knitting podcast. Today I have lots of projects to share with you and beautiful book that I want to show you. And let's just talk about knitting. Let's just start the episode. Welcome back if you've been here before, and if you're new here, welcome. I hope you'll enjoy this content. My name is Martina. I live in the center of Italy in the mountains with my partner. We like to share about our life here in another channel called Casa nel Monte if you want to check it out. Otherwise, if you're here for the knitting, this channel is for you. I love to share everything about my wild knitting. I'm not a very precise knitter. I love to knit really special and unique projects. I follow patterns. Sometimes I create patterns. I love natural fibers, natural yarns. I try to dye also some of the yarns that I have. I hope you'll enjoy this. I have several things I want to talk about. Several projects you haven't seen yet. And a book. So, let's start with the finished object, or maybe what I'm wearing. I'm wearing this absolutely cozy shawl. Actually, this shawl had a bit of problems. Now it was hanged on a kind of like thing, and so there is this like little bump here, but it's a shawl that I designed and knitted for myself, and it's kind of like a garter shawl that has this little lace and textured panel in the middle. It's super big and super drapey and fluffy. It's knitted with very special yarn, knitting for olive silk mohair, and held together with other two yarns. One was a lamb wool, don't remember the brand, and the other one, I don't remember the brand, I think it was my yak, but it was a cashmere laceway yarn. So 3 strands of yarn held together created this fluffiness and this gorgeousness, and is my favorite shawl so far. Like, it doesn't have such a special design. It's just like basically a garter shawl, but I wear it all the time. I have other beautiful shawls. I think I have now I have 3, 4, 5. I think I have 5 shawls that I made so far, and I use them all, but this one is the one I use the most. I think it's because it's white and fluffy. And it goes well with basically everything in my wardrobe. Then I'm wearing this, which is another a cardigan that I've knitted, and this one I slightly modified a pattern, so I followed the pattern and I did little modifications. So this is the TULC, or Talk, the Ultimate Lazy Cardigan by Albina. I don't remember her surname. I'll put it on the screen, and it's a really simple kind of cardigan design, knitted top down with this shoulder construction, and you knit the neckline and the button band, and basically the entire cardigan at once. You don't have to later on knit the button band or the neckline afterwards. It's just you knit everything in one piece, and you're good to go. And the modification I've done is this kind of little texture work that goes throughout the cardigan, and there's this kind of Latvian braid, and then this is the beginning of a cable, and it goes here, like in the kind of yoke and in the middle of the cardigan. And there is also a Latvian braid on the bottom hem. Now I'm wearing this skirt, but yeah, I really like this, and I used a beautiful yarn by Ruby and Roses. One was a merino and cashmere blend. I think it was the collection Love Letter. I think the Love Letter collection, and she sent it to me. So one was a merino cashmere blend, and the other one was a silk mohair that she hand dyed. It's this beautiful kind of lilac color. I've been wearing this so much, like I love. So that's what I'm wearing, and I put this kind of buttons that my mom had in her stash, and really like this combo of garments. And then I'm wearing a bandana just because I have dirty hair. I need to wash my hair, but it's a bandana. It's a little pattern that I test knitted more than a year ago, I think. It's called the Romanticist bandana, and it has this kind of like little flowers, like yarn overs, lacy flowers. Super simple pattern, highly recommended. And this is knitted with a kind of bamboo and cotton blend yarn. I don't remember the brand. That's it. That's what I'm wearing. Let's move forward. Let's start with the finished object. I finished this shawl. This is a pattern that I've knitted in the past. It's my second time knitting it. I did little modifications that you don't actually see. This is the Calville Sha by Gabriella Merriweather Knitting, and I knitted it with the bigger gauge, so with bigger needles and with a I think it was a worsted weight yarn or like heavy DK weight yarn. It was an alpaca, 50% alpaca, 50% wool, organic wool by Cesia that I found online. I found, I think, 5 skeins of this, and I played yarn chicken and I lost. But you don't basically see it. So because I knew that I didn't have the yardage recommended for this pattern, what I've done, I just kind of shorten the sections, each section. So there is this beautiful like moss stitch section, then there is a Latvian braid, and then there is a lattice section, and then the last section is this kind of like flowers that run throughout the end of the shawl. There are some mistakes, you probably see it, like look at this, but we're not perfect here. I really like this shawl. It's really nice and cozy. It's smaller than I expected, of course, like but I really like it, and Mike used it as well a couple of times around his neck. I like to wear my shawls like on my shoulders like that, like Tasha Tudor. She's an icon style for me. But Mike just wears it around his neck like that, right? Like this. And it's really nice and cozy. And as I said, I played yarn chicken and I lost. In fact, like the last moss stitch section that you can see here is knitted with another yarn. And you barely can see it. It's like a lighter woolly yarn, lighter color, but you don't see it. But I think with the right light you can barely see it. But it's basically the same color. But I was really happy that I found that yarn in my stash. First finished object, really happy with it. The Calville shawl is a beautiful pattern. It's, as I said, my second time knitting it. Now it's like a blizzard. There's a storm outside. And need to turn on the fire. But luckily I'm wrapped in knits. But yes, it's a beautiful pattern and I highly recommend it. The beginning it was a little bit scary, not scary, but it looked complicated, but it isn't. You just follow the pattern step by step and it's really well written. So I highly recommend you to check that pattern. Okay, so that's my first finished object. And then, where shall we start? Let's start with this one because I didn't knit on it. I'm gonna knit on it, but I'm not gonna show it to you, otherwise we waste time. Okay, let's start with something simple and then we go into the difficult projects. Not so difficult, but yeah. I am finishing this hat. I need to change the needles, use DPNs because now I'm doing the creases. This is a hat that I'm knitting for Mike and it's knitted with a beautiful yarn. No, Cucita, my cat is active. She wants to play. Of course, she's been sleeping all day and now that I'm filming, she wants to play, of course. I'm using a beautiful yarn. It's the Cozy Posy Yarn Co. So Soft base and it's a 100% non-superwashed merino yarn, which is extremely soft, and Mike is super picky when it comes to itchiness and itchy yarns. He doesn't like, rustic yarns at all on his skin, and so this is perfect for him. It's perfect also for baby knits. It's the softest merino yarn. I really love it, and I think Antonella makes absolutely gorgeous colors. So I chose this like light blue for his hat because he has light blue eyes and he uses the hats that I make him all the time. Last year I knitted him a gray hat holding a fingering weight yarn and silk mohair together, and he uses it all the time, so I want him to have another one. And I'm following ish a pattern. The gauge is a bit different, and so I casted on more stitches. It's a free pattern. It's called the Loom Beanie. I don't remember the designer, but I'll put it on the screen. And it's I cast it on 100. It's a free pattern, right? So I can say the largest size, I think it was 114 stitches in the tunic 1x1 ribbing, right? And I cast it on 120. And then when you have to do the decreases, you divide all the stitches by 4. Divided by 4, right? So 30 stitches each section, right? And then you do the decreases. So you put the stitch marker every 30 stitches. Okay, and this is the perfect size for him. I'm using a DKW yarn and needle size 3.5 millimeters, and it's the perfect size for him. He has a big head. So highly recommend that pattern. It's free, it's nice. The designer uses, I think, a worsted weight yarn and 4.5 millimeters needles. I used DKW yarn 3.5 millimeters. 120 stitches. This is going to be finished, I think, today, so you can finally wear it. I want to show you a beautiful book that I received. I can't believe it. I didn't expect to receive it. Unit Toronto, Claudia Quintanilla, contacted me a few months ago, and they were like, we're coming out with this book and we're really excited. Do you want to knit any of the patterns? We can send you the yarn. And I fell in love with this Aureliano sweater, which is this one. Completely fell in love with this one. It's a color work, all over color work. silk mohair held double sweater, Aureliano. Look how beautiful. I've seen more and more people knitting this one, and I think it should be popular because it's beautiful. So I was like, I would love to knit that one, and I chose the colors, and they sent to me the yarn. But the yarn was a different color. I think there was a mistake with the package, and they sent a kit for this sweater that was for someone else, I guess. And I was like, oh, I can send it back to you. But then I decided to keep that yarn because it's the same yarn of the pattern. It's exactly the same. So I usually don't knit with blue for myself, but I think this will look beautiful, and I would love to have a blue sweater in my wardrobe, just one. So I'm definitely gonna knit it at some point, maybe even this winter. I really would like to do that. And so we jumped straight into the pattern. But one day I was in the garden, the postman came, and he gave me this book. He gave me a package that had this book in it, and I was like, I didn't expect it, right? I received the yarn and that specific pattern, but I didn't expect to receive the book as well. So I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Claudia. And this is, I think, a beautiful, beautiful book. I probably is my favorite that I own so far. I have another one that I really like that I'll show you, 52 Weeks of Easy Knits by Lane Publishing, which is the same kind of publish agency. How do you call it? Casa Editrice, I don't know, but it's by Lane Publishing as well, and it's a beautiful book as well. It's like with a lot of pattern, easy knits, but that's more like kind of simple patterns, which I think I recommend that book as well. But this one is very beautifully designed as well. First of all, this is the book cover, this beautiful picture. This is one of the patterns that you'll find inside, and it's by Claudia Quintanilla. I dare to say, I think she's definitely one of my favorite knitwear designers. I think her way of writing patterns really goes well with my style of, reading patterns. Everyone has their own style, or like what we like about the way patterns are written, and I love the way she writes patterns, and her designs, I think they're timeless and very elegant and unique. So let me show you a couple of projects just so you can see if for you it's worth it to buy it. But I think it is, especially for Christmas. Gift it to yourself, gift it to a knitter that you love. Look at this. I want to knit this one so much as well. I don't know how much you can see. It's called Kona Caste, and there is a little story with about how she got inspired to knit, to design that pattern. And let me see that the Aureliano. There's so many. Like, I think all of them are extremely beautiful. Look at this one. This is called Azul. This one I think is something that I absolutely want to knit. Beautiful colorwork yoked sweater. I think it would be really beautiful for Christmas, but not only for Christmas. And I mean, I'm really impressed, and I really want to give all my congratulations to Claudia and the team, because they did a beautiful job making this. And the graphic design, I'm a graphic designer, and I love the way this book is made, the graphic of it as well. Look at that one. How gorgeous. Beautiful. I mean, I think at some point I'll get around and knit most of these ones because they're beautiful, most of the patterns. But yeah, Memory Lane embellished. Look how beautiful this picture is. Memory Lane embellished knits to cherish. Highly, highly recommend this book. Now there is Christmas. Gift this to a knitter friend. Do yourself a favor. Or to yourself, you know. Let me see. They're very also simple designs that I've, like this one, that I've done like a little something. This has like a bow tie on the back. We've got so many gorgeous patterns. So I'm really excited to dive into this book. But yeah, this is Claudia. How gorgeous. But yes, the first pattern that I'm gonna knit from this book is going to be the Aureliano sweater. And I have the yarn. Really excited. So after we talked about that little book, let's dive into my work in progress projects because they're special for me. Okay. First project that I want to show you, I have like 3 projects in this massive bag. Chose Happiness by Hey Happiness. They sent it to me once. So this is giving me all the joy I need. It's just pure fulfillment. For me, knitting on this, it just gives me so much joy. So last podcast episode, I told you that, oh my god, I'm so entangled. Yeah, okay. Last podcast episode, I told you that me and Mika are going to marry, and I was kind of rushing a bit because we thought we would marry within this year, and today is November, so in December, but luckily, I would say we still are waiting for some documents, and we decided to postpone it's going to be a super simple signing ceremony, and then maybe in the future, when we are a bit more done with the house, we'll do a proper wedding party in the future. But yes, I think it's going to be postponed for, in the beginning of the new year. We don't know exactly when. We haven't booked a date, but I'm happy about that because then we don't stress out. So I bought several patterns. I got gifted a pattern as well, 2 patterns actually from Carolina, my friend. Thank you so much. And I had these beautiful plans. I'm gonna knit a shawl for myself. I'm gonna knit a cardigan for myself to wear on top of a beautiful dress. And I'm gonna knit something for Mika. So I was rushing and I was like, I need to knit for this wedding that was about to happen. And so I rushed and I start different projects, but then I unraveled the shawl that I was making because I didn't like it, or it didn't make a sewing. I wasn't feeling the shawl with that specific yarn, and so I just decided to look for other patterns, and I was really wanting to have a poncho. I don't know why I got so obsessed with ponchos. No one is wearing ponchos. I haven't seen a single podcaster or knitter in my feed or in my life wearing a poncho. And I'm like, why? I don't know. I think we all should start wearing ponchos, or I'll start wearing ponchos for sure. I love them. They're so practical. You can just like put them on and you're free. Whereas the shawl, you have to pin them to stay in place. Whereas the poncho, you just put it on and you have your hands and arms, they're free, but then you're kind of covered with this beautiful cloak or mantle. So, so I was really obsessed with ponchos, and I checked online, I found different patterns, but then I fell completely in love with this Aina poncho. It is a pattern by a German designer, so it's knitted, it's written in German, but then I think she translated it. In fact, I think there is a little mistake, but it's easily fixable. And I just bought the pattern. I was like, so there is the English version for if I wasn't clear. So I bought the pattern and I started knitting it, and I went pretty far. There it is. I think, yeah, that's how you wear it. Let me show you. Put this down. Okay, so it's kind of an irregular, like a irregular shape, if that makes sense. So the pointy part is to the right of the body, and I'm knitting the back now. It's basically knitted in one piece, and you just seam this like shoulder part, and there it is. I think is absolutely gorgeous. And then after you seamed that part, you pick up stitches around the neckline and knit the neckline. I love this. Love it. And whether I was thinking to actually, to make it for my wedding. Sorry, I'm just entangled with yarns. So I was thinking to make it for my wedding. So maybe I'll wear it on top of my dress. If the wedding is still going to be, in January, February, March, when it's still cold here, even April. Sometimes it snows in April here as well. So I could wear it on top of my wedding dress, or I could just wear it every day till then. But I consider it my wedding piece, even though I might or might not wear it, right? So there are two things about this that I really love. One is the beautiful stitch pattern. For me, it looks like there are tiny little figures that are holding each other's hands. You can't unseen it now that I told you. But I love this. It's a 4-row repeat, super easy, super simple, just yarn overs and knit 3 togethers or something, I don't remember, but super simple to make. And you knit back and forth, so there is a little bit of purling on the wrong side, but I love making this. The other thing that I really love, from the construction, I love the construction as well, is the yarn that I'm using. Love this. I know, I say that I love everything that I'm showing you today, so maybe my words aren't so important. If I say that I love everything, then it just, does that make sense? Never mind. But this, I truly love it. It is just, I mean, I love everything that I showed you today. So this is one of the things that I love. So this is the new base from Fattoria La Rocca. It's a local farm. They're about 1.5-2 hours by car from here. And so in the center of Italy. And they have a farm. I shared a video, I'll put it in the description box and up here, where we went to visit them last year with Ali and Chris and Mike. was a very special time. And their husband and wife and their children, and they just, run this little, wool farm. And they have some sheep, this specific breed, which is called Pecora sopravvissana. I think it's in the merino breed family. That makes sense. So it's quite soft but very rustic as well. And I bought some yarns from them and I knitted something from them, but I think I love this more than all the other yarns that I had. This is 50% their, lana sopravvissana, their wool, and 50% alpaca. And I don't know if you know it, but alpaca is my favorite animal-based fiber. Favorite. I love alpaca. So look at this. This is a DK yarn. It comes in 50 grams and 100 meters. And I think for now there are 4 colors. White, brown, gray, and like beige. I think they're all like the natural colors of the alpaca. Love this. And it was quite unnecessary, but I decided to hold it together with silk mohair because I wanted extra drape and a bit of halo. This has already some halo, but I wanted a little bit extra, and I already bought this silk mohair for a shawl, so I was like, I could just use it for this. This is the fabric. So there is a little bit of extra halo and drape that is given by the silk mohair. I'm using needle size 5 millimeters. The pattern recommends 4 millimeters. So my poncho is gonna be a little bit bigger than or longer than the designer's sample, for example. But it doesn't matter. It's like a shawl. You can knit it with different gauges. Love this so much. I hope I can wear it for my wedding, but if not, I'm gonna wear it every day, and I still consider it kind of my wedding poncho. I just have so much pleasure knitting this, and you can see I knitted quite a lot. It's quite a lot of fabric, so much, like it's a lot of knitting. I've knitted it in the evening, and anytime I had some time for knitting, I dedicated my energies to this, but also to other things. So let me show you. So that's the first kind of, I'll show you like the wedding themed garments and accessories. So that's the first one. And then I decided to knit something for Mike. And again, we'll see if he'll wear it. We'll see if he will wear it for the wedding, or just for this winter and other occasions. But I still kind of consider it like a wedding garment because it's infused with my love and this excitement and happiness about the fact that we're gonna marry. And it's interesting because the poncho that I'm knitting is knitted with an Italian yarn, and this vest that I'm knitting for him for the wedding is knitted with a Swedish yarn, and he's Swedish and I'm Italian. So beautiful. So this is the garment that I'm knitting for Mike. Is a vest. I'll talk about the pattern in a second. So it's all crunched up on the needles, but I don't know how much you can see. It has this kind of like diamond shapes that are created. It's like a texture, all over texture vest, and they're created just knits and pearls. It's a super simple vest. Highly recommend the pattern, and I'm following it. I found the pattern in this book, I talked to you earlier about this book. Is the 52 Weeks of Easy Knits by Lane Publishing, and I am following this pattern. Is called the Diamond Twill. I don't know how much you can see. Diamond Twill by Nina Pomerenke. Is the creator behind a Crafter's Tale podcast. Look how beautiful. Now there is my microphone. It creates some shade, but this is the pattern I'm following. So I'm using a Swedish yarn called Neden, and I'm holding it double. And the designer recommends Plutulupi. This is an unspun yarn, and Plutulupi is an unspun yarn as well. Neden is a very special yarn. I used it in the past. It's really beautiful. The color, dimensions is like, it's just so beautiful and super soft. And I was worried that Mika would consider it a bit scratchy or like itchy, but it's not. We tried it on his neck and on his forehead, and it's soft. And it has a little bit of halo. I don't remember which color this is, but it's, I think, last year collection or something. And I boil it up. So I boil it up 2 strands. I boil it up together like this. And this yarn is frustrating to knit with for me right now. Because look, I gently pull and it just breaks. It's a super fragile yarn, but somehow it's very magical, because when you knit up, when it's knitted up, also Mika was like, so it would be a very fragile garment, question mark. And I said, no, actually, when you knit it up, it's you know, it's a sturdy, it creates like a sturdy fabric. It's not like breaking apart, right? If you pull it, of course, if you're like breaking it with all your force, maybe it will break, but it's, yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful fabric. It creates a beautiful fabric. And I'm following the 4th size, and I'm knitting it longer because it's kind of cropped. The sample or the design is a bit cropped, like a cropped vest, but I'm knitting it longer because Mika is tall. So I'm doing, I think, 1 or 2 more repeats than the pattern recommends of the chart. And it's charted super simple. I mean, it's in the book 52 Weeks of Easy Knits, so I think it's a simple pattern, but you just have to follow the chart, and I like it. I don't think I'm doing any other modification. That's it. That's the only modification. I'm knitting it longer, the body, and it's knitted bottom up, so it's a little bit tricky to know if it will fit, but I think I have Mika by my side, so I can just try it on and see. So these are the 2 little or big garments that I'm making for our wedding. Then I'm making also a cardigan, but I have some updates about this. So this is a cardigan that I already started. I plan to, have this super beautiful white cardigan to put on top of a dress. And we're going to the municipality to marry, so it's not going to be like I'm not going to wear like a massive wedding dress. It's just going to be a very beautiful, simple dress. And I started this pattern. This is the Tied and True cardigan pattern, but I'm gonna do my thing because this pattern is a little frustrating me again, and I don't want to be frustrated. So this is knitted with alpaca and held together with Drops Kid Silk, and so the fabric is quite like fluffy and dreamy. I don't have anything really against this pattern. It doesn't have mistakes or anything, but oh. I'm drinking some juice. So I was saying, I don't have anything against this pattern. The only thing, you know, as I was saying before, we all have our preferences when it comes to the style of how a designer writes their patterns. And I prefer, for example, when a designer tells you, oh, knit in pattern for 50 centimeters or 10 centimeters, and then start increasing. Whereas this designer, at least what I've seen so far, just in this pattern, it tells me to knit 30 rows or 25 rows. And I'm like, no, you have to tell me the centimeters or the inches. That's my own preference. I don't have anything against the way this pattern is written. It's just, for me, it's a bit frustrating. I don't want to count each row. That's my own, you know, preference. So, and then it has like, I don't know, I just, by all means, if you like the design, buy the pattern. I recommend it. It doesn't have anything wrong, okay? It's just my laziness, I guess. And I want to put good energies and love in this. So I think I'm just gonna do my thing. It's already like, I mean, I already knitted quite a little bit, so I'm just gonna continue and do my thing. I can modify patterns a lot. I always modify patterns, even when I love them. It's almost like my brand to modify patterns. But yeah, I'm gonna do my thing. So it's just going to be a cardigan that is going to look different than the tied and true pattern. It's going to be like a simple white cardigan. So that's it. No, I have one more project that I want to show you. One more whip. Fingerless mittens. This is another pattern by the wonderful Nina Pomerenke, the creator behind A Crafter's Tale, the one that designed the vest, the diamond twill vest. And I'm knitting the Sonak or Sonak, not sure I pronounced this pattern correctly, but it's the fox version. She has lots of different designs of fingerless mittens, and I wanted this to make this so badly. Last year I bought the pattern, so I finally got to knit it. This took me 1.5 days, 4 hours in the evening of one day, and then a couple of hours the next one. So basically a full day of knitting, and you have one mitten. Love it. I'm using stash yarn, so this is part of I'm knitting it as part of a knit along that I'm hosting. It's a year-long knit along. You still have time. I think it's going to, we still haven't decided the kind of deadline of the knit along with Ali. I'm the co-hoster of this knit along, is the Adventures in Stash, and it's not actually only a knit along. You can do any craft as long as you use something in your stash. It can be fabric, it can be yarn, you choose, and you can just take pictures of your projects. They don't have to be finished to be part, to kind of apply to the knit along, I guess. Can you say that? To participate. You just tag us, take a picture and tag us on Instagram. Just write #Adventures in Stash, and then we'll pick up some winners. There are going to be patterns and maybe some yarns and other things. We'll see. as prices. But yeah, love this. It has also some duplicate stitching for the eyes and the nose. I need to knit the thumb, and then the first one will be done. So very excited for this. I love fingerless mittens very much. Okay, so I think I'm done. I'm so excited to finish projects and start new projects. I'm at the peak of my knitting mojo. Can you say that? I'm really like, I just want to knit during the day, but I cannot. Sometimes I can, sometimes I cannot, but I'm really enjoying all my projects, and I hope you're enjoying yours too. I have some Christmas knits planned. I'm not gonna tell them because both of the people that are going to receive a gift from me are watching this. So I have like 2 projects, but they're small projects planned for some members of my family, and then a hat for my dad, and yeah, for Mika I'm already making the vest and the hat. This year I'm just gonna be, and from now on I'm going to be very relaxed when it comes to knitting, you know, for other people. I prefer knitting for myself, and there's nothing wrong. We can knit for others or ourselves as long as we do what we like and what we feel like doing. I think that it's important to do what we like, at least in this craft, and as much as we can in life, even though it's not always easy. So yes, hope you're not stressing out for Christmas knitting, and I'm going to share some, I think, yeah, I'm still finding what I should call it, but I'm thinking to do Vlogmas. I celebrate Yule more than Christmas. It's kind of the celebration of the winter solstice and the winter in general. But I want to film almost every day in December if I can, and maybe upload every day or every other or every, you know, in the weekends. We'll see. But I think I'm gonna try to do that. It would be fun. I also have an advent calendar to open and to share, and I want to knit something with that yarn. I have to find an advent project. So I have many plans, and I want to share them maybe daily with you in December. But we'll see. I'm not going to put pressure. Let me know what you think I should call this series that is coming, this Vlogmas series. I'll think about the name, but let me know what you think. And let me know what you're knitting, if you're enjoying this season, this new season, wherever you are. Even if you're in the southern hemisphere, I bet you're enjoying summer. And sometimes, I mean, I love winter as well. I love all seasons, but yeah, warmth is nice, right? Okay, so thank you so much for watching this, and I'll see you very soon.